So what I did is actually before you guys come to here, I just run the 64-bit methods, and it's exactly the same way. And now we have a perfect score, and see that it's one only. It's this one. Okay. So we are in very good shape to bypassing firewalls. I mean bypassing the antiviruses. So that's good, but we need some more. First of all, some people are using metasploits to handle the metasploiter sessions, but in order to use the metasploiter, you need to do two things together. One is, please make sure that even if you use, let's say, exploit. Let's start from the scratch, and let me do this way. Okay, back. Okay, when you start metasploit, you can use exploit multi-handler to handle metasploiter sessions, right? By default, there should be nothing, but since I set the payload, I have my payload and local port, local host, and all of them. But two things will allow you to evade firewalls, because firewalls actually, it's not running on client side, or it's not running on your command and control center. It's running between two of them, right? It's investigating your traffic, and also there is somebody from Checkpoint now. Where is he? Where's Checkpoint guy? Yeah, there he is. They are watching your traffic. So the problem is, while they're watching, they can understand the metasploiter stager, and the metasploiter is working something like this way. When you run an executable on a Windows machine, it sends a signal to command and control center. Hey, I'm here. Can you send my stager so I can do what I need to do? But the problem is, those traffic is traveling from that Checkpoint guy, and they can catch your stager, and the stager may drop while it's on the way. What we can do is we can encode the stager. So I will do it. What I would like to do, enable stage encoding. This is going to be true. This will allow you the stager to be encoded, but which encoding? So you can say that set stage encoder, and I think it's also, yeah, top complete is possible. You can choose one of your favorite, but my favorite is X64 Shikita Ganai. This one is really cool one. So if I use this one, my stager is going to be encoded. It's not encrypted. It's encoded, but it's fine. This one is really doing a good job to evade some firewalls, and it's going to be useful. So this one is one of the things that you should do, encoding. But if you're interested in, hey, I would like to encrypt my stager, is there any way to do that? Yes, there is a way to do that. I'm not going to dig into details, but these guys are providing the same thing. They created it's actually Diablo Horn GitHub page. They created an proxy for metasploiter and metasploit, and this proxy is going to sit between your metasploit and your metasploiter. It's going to encrypt the stager while it's traveling on the way. Okay, that is what proxy is doing actually exactly. But the difference is it's not touching your endpoints. It's on the way, encrypting your session and decrypting on the other side. So this one is also works fine, but of course you have to use their reverse metasploiter in order to use this one, because this one has to decrypt the encrypted encode stager in order to understand the code segment. So that is the one that you can use. This is the simplest one. The other one is actually, this is not exactly for metasploiter, but this one is very cool for evading firewalls. When, let's say you are outside the firewall and you would like to scan your target. When you run a port scan, every single firewall on this planet can understand that you are running a port scan, because port scan is the easiest signature to detect. Am I right? Yes, exactly. Port scan is the easiest one. But what you need to do is scan a target, because you would like to know that which version or which port is available on that target. In order to identify that, we will scan that port with a spoofed IP address. But the problem with spoofed IP address is, first, when you spoof an IP address, the response is going to where? Spoofed address, right? You can't get the result because you spoofed the IP address of that another zombie. but I need the result to come back to me. There is a way to do that. It's actually called as nmap zombie scan or idle scan. What it's doing is, we found a zombie on the internet, and we send a scene, get an IP ID address of this particular machine. It is the ID of an TCP package, and it's increased one by one with every single package. What I'm trying to do is, I will get this IP ID, and I will send a spoofed package to target. The spoofed IP is actually my zombie IP address. When this package arrives to target, it's going to send an SYNAC, if it's port open, to my zombie. My zombie is going to say that, hey, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't send any package to you. Why are you sending me a SYNAC? It's going to send another reset package, but it's going to increase its IP ID, right? And I will send another SYN package to this zombie, get an IP ID. If it's increased by 2, I know that there is reset package to send this target, so I understand that the port is open on this target. Are you guys following me? IP ID difference, if it is 1, which means that this guy send anything to anybody, right? Because either it's drop or it's a reset package. If it's a reset package, zombie is not going to send anything to target. So I understand that if it is increased by 1, the port is closed. If it's increased by 2, it's open. So this is called nmap zombie scan. So what I like to do is, I will run an nmap scan on a target without touching the asset. The target is going to be, where is my target? Okay, let's boot my targets. I forget to boot my target, but it's not going to take too much time. It's not this one, but this one, I think, yeah. And this one is going to be my zombie. Let's find the IP address of my zombie. By the way, you can scan zombies because it's zombie. It's not that complicated machine, but your target, probably they are going to catch you when you scan that. IP config. The IP address is 208. Okay, let's start my script. Nmap minus s idle, and the target is with port. Usually 445 is open on most Windows machine, but if you know that a port is open, you can use that port. But make sure that you didn't choose the zombie as a Twitter server, because if you choose a server that has a lot of traffic, it's going to increase its IP address on the way, right? Remember, this IP address is increased with every single package. If you find a really busy server, it's going to increase by itself. So it's not a good candidate to be a zombie. And Linux machine is not zombie enabled. Unfortunately, Linux is not allowing you to do that. Unfortunately, you have to use Microsoft for a zombie, but it's fine. Microsoft is good zombie candidate. Okay, this one, my zombie. I will scan my web server. Let's quickly find the IP address of my web server. It's 204. Okay, and let's scan top ports 100. Okay, before I start, I want to start the Wireshark. You guys are familiar with Wireshark, right? It's open source, wonderful, wonderful, lovely, lovely product. Okay. So let's capture interfaces, and I will capture this interface. Continue without saving, and I will start. Let's cancel this one. Okay. I will start a capture on my target machine too. Okay, this one seems good. Yeah, this one is mine. Okay, let's cancel that. Okay, good, good, good. And I will capture this interface also. So, we are good to go. Where is my script? Okay. I will scan 204, and my IP address is 216, right? Okay, let's see 216 is touching the target, okay? It will take a couple of seconds to run. And on my target, I will run a simple filter. IP.address is equal to 172. What was that? 16.52.216, right? No package. And okay, I already get the results, and I can see that 999 is open. Why is it open? I don't know. It's open. Interesting. Okay, 80 and all of the ports are open, and the target saying that this IP address is not suspectable because I didn't touch that. Who touched that? Actually, let's change my filter to 108, which is my zombie server, saying that, yeah, I sent the packages to you. See that? All packages from this zombie machine. And zombie machine, when I run and filter on my zombie machine, ip.addr is equal to 172. Actually, okay, 16.52. Let's choose my, first of all, the attacker. Attacker is sending a lot of package to my zombie, right? Because it is spoofing the IP address and also trying to get what? Trying to get which piece of information? IP ID, right? Good. So that's why I'm seeing this IP address. And when I look at the target communication, it's saying that, hey, you have a good conversation with this target and zombie machine. So you can scan a target without touching their assets. This is one of the famous methods of scanning the internet-facing assets from the internet. So this one protects you from public-facing firewalls. Okay, right. Let's go with the other one. Okay, think about that. We are inside a firewall. Let's say we successfully achieved to run an metasploit session on a machine, but unfortunately, even 443 is not allowed to travel through the firewall. And I saw a penetration test. Actually, a customer hired us to run an advanced persistent threat for there. Actually, it was a military organization, and say that, hey, we have an organization, we have this structures and these firewalls. Run a penetration test as hard as you can and try to, be a domain administrator in our environment. We said, okay, that's fine. And they say that everything is possible, but everything is possible for me too. If I saw your IP address, I'm going to block it. If I saw your email address, I'm going to block it. I will do everything I need to do, and you should do everything you need to do. We said, yes, okay. And I created an invisible metasploit session. I successfully sent it to a target, but unfortunately, they are not allowing to access to internet. The internet there is a rule saying that in client network, any ID drop. So that was useless. I created a malware actually sitting on that machine, but it's not communicating with me. Although I can run a ransomware actions, but I need to be a domain administrator. Ransomware is useless for that. So what we do is we created a dnschan enable malware, and this is basics of TCP/IP information. So let's quickly cover this one, and I'll explain that solution. In TCP/IP terminology, there are multiple levels of headers, right? Layer 2 header, layer 3, and layer 4, and also the layer 7 data segments. So this allows you to communicate with the different protocols. And the protocol is saying that you should have MAC, IP, UDP, or I don't know which layer 4 protocol, then layer 7 protocol, then the data section. But what we do is, we are going to put exactly the same headers, but we put another section to data section, right? Actually, we are putting another IP header and another IP package to data section. This is how tunneling is working, and there are a lot of tunneling. It's not we created. Actually, Cisco created that. Generic routing encapsulation is exactly doing the same thing. MAC, IP, GRE, and there is another IP, ICMP, and data. And you can see that in Wireshark, I can easily see that the source IP is 10.0.0.1, but there is another source IP 1.1.1.1. It's actually generic routing encapsulation. So that's how we can use that. But the idea is similar. If somebody can put another IP package in a GRE protocol, why not I can put any protocol? For example, I can use ICMP. I can use DNS, right? This is how we can do. Actually, what we do is we use DNS as a proxy. And every single organization has a built-in cool proxy available in their organization, which is called as whonix proxy server, and it's allowed to travel anything you want. What's that proxy server? DNS servers. Actually, DNS servers are built-in proxy servers on an organization. You can use it to tunnel every single protocol you want to use. Is it possible? Of course. So let's start with that. First of all, first thing you need to do is you need to have an DNS tunnel enabled servers, and my server is actually this one, and I don't know the IP address, but so it's running, and it's going to assign this IP range to clients. And what I would like to do is on my Kali Linux, if I look at the IP configuration, and this is my IP address, and let me open an ice whistle and get rid of this. My IP address is 166 something, right? Good. So let's start DNS tunneling, and the client is actually iodine, and I will use exactly the same domain, .com, and I think that's all. Let me try. Good. It's in connection with my DNS server. It has an IP address 172.17.0.2, and if I look at my IP configuration now, I have another interface, DNS 0, and it has IP address 172.17.0.2, and I have my DNS connection successfully completed, and it has wow, it's pretty small range, but at least it's okay. So I have two different interfaces. One is actually DNS tunnel, the other one is actually my real IP address. What I would like to do is I want to forward every single package to DNS server. So it's going to create an DNS tunnel between my server and my machine. So the command for that is, I don't memorize it unfortunately, so I will use this one. Okay, 172.17.0.1 is my server IP address. So when I look at my root configuration, it says everything is forwarded to 172, right? Except my local IP. So when I refresh this page, I have 104 something IP address. Now I am using HTTP protocol, which is a different protocol, but it's opening from this part. And the best part is there is no HTTP traffic available now except the previous one. Let's refresh this traffic, stop and restart this capture. Okay, capture, options, my public interface, internet. Okay, when I refresh this page, I have an HTTP connection, but there is no HTTP traffic. See that? Everybody is here? Except this SSDP, it's not my IP address. So where is the HTTP traffic? It's here. See that? It's sending interesting DNS queries to this server, paaz5ya@yazılım.com. It means that, hey, if you see this payload, it means that I'm trying to access the api.epify.org. Send me the reply to this way. Okay, that's how it communicates with that. So that is possible to run that way, and I have even a good solution for that. This one is actually the DNS tunnel rat that we use for that purpose. So this is how it's running, DNS tunnel, all the DNS traffic, but no other traffic. So we can bypass even checkpoint guy with this method. DNS capable malware allows us to run exactly the same way. We can travel everything we want, but it's going to be run over DNS. There are a number of good Tor configuration. whonix and your custom Tor configuration allows you to bypass the firewalls, because firewall allows you to access to some certain ports. And if you configure your server like that, okay, promiscuous tunnel, this is going to be the last one. Promiscuous tunnel is used for bypassing personal firewalls. In some cases, firewalls allows you to or blocks some certain ports, but the difference is Promiscuous is it's running on the firewall. So before firewall block a package, we capturing that package. You got the idea, right? Because firewall is operating in this level, but our application is running under the firewall. It's in the TCP IP stack level. It's one level below the firewall. So firewall is actually doing its job to block a package, but what we are doing is we are sending a package to a closed port. It's going to be blocked, but our application can capture that package from the network I/O buffer, so I can communicate with an internal host machine with an promiscuous tunnel. So what my promiscuous tunnel here, it is running under firewall. Let's say this one is my firewall, and I would like to send a file to this machine. And what I like to do is I will run the script. Okay, first of all, it's going to use this port. By the way, you can choose the port. Tell me a port number. Just throw a port number. Come on, guys, tell me. 345. But let's choose above 10,000. 34521. Okay, this one is probably it's closed, and I can easily check that on this machine, and let's see that whether this port is listened or not. Is there any 34521? Absolutely no. Okay, nobody is listening. I need to shut this Wireshark, because this is also promiscuous mode. If you use two promiscuous applications together, it's going to, create a problem. Okay, quit without saving. And what I like to do is I would like to send this package, send the content of this folder, file, and let's take a look at this file. This is a sample text file created by Candan, Laura Mipsu, $set, Ahmet, and all of them. Okay, this is the file that I would like to send to a closed port. Let's send it. At least we should send the correct IP address. You have to use the correct IP. This is the pre-request. Okay, this is the IP. I'm sending SYN and I'm getting a reset ACK package. See that? Reset ACK means that port is actually closed and firewall is doing its job. But what I get is, this is the sample text created by Candan, Lorem Ipsum, $, all the contents of the file. Although the port is closed, but we still have the content. That's cool. But the cool thing is, why should I use my own IP address? Because checkpoint guy can understand my IP address and block my IP address. Let's use spoof IP address. Is it possible? It's possible, of course. Let's use a spoof IP address and let's say rand-source. I will not get any response from my machine, because this one is actually send the reset ACK package to real IP address. And let's clear the screen and send the package to this one. Okay, I'm not getting any result, but I'm getting the content. But the source IP address is 74, 76, 103, 252, 76. Different IP addresses are sending the package, and there is no clue that I'm sending the package to this guy. This is absolutely invisible, but still I can communicate with this machine. So thank you Checkpoint. This is going to be my last demo, and yeah, this is how it can work. So if you guys have any question, I would like to answer that. and thank you for joining us. Last thing before you leave, and we have a pretty new startup company which is called as NormShield, but we created a pretty cool product which is called as continuous perimeters monitoring tool. We created a bunch of scanners on one single unified platform with a cyber threat intelligence feed also. If you guys are interested in evaluating NormShield, we can create you a passive threat scan report. This is actually a sample report that we created. It includes a lot of details. For example, your IP addresses, full IP ranges, your DNS servers, your application servers, and all SMTP or SSLs, and leaked email and password, and all of them. And the best part is, we are not touching you. We are collecting all this information without any clue on your firewall. Okay? If you're interested in, let me know, and we can create a report for your company too. You are going to amaze the results, and you can check your firewall logs and IPS log, and can't believe that this information can be gathered from the internet and also your perimeter edge without touching your asset, and you can track the hackers' IP addresses. This is how we can combine our professionality, our professional knowledge on this platform, and there is more for this platform. If you're interested in, send me an email with info@normshield.com, or even you can send an email directly to me, camden.bolukbash@normshield.com. I will be happy to demo our product to you guys. Any question? Wonderful. Are you guys still have enough memory? Have you still CPU power? I saw that you guys are exhausted, huh? Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good one.